Welcome back to our channel, YouTube. My name is Kristen Forgione. I'm the founder, creative director, and principal designer at THELIFESTYLEDCO. And I'm here with my dear friend, Jason Easterly of ENS Builders. I can't believe I actually talked you into this successfully.
It's very hard to do.
It's taken me many years to get him in this hot seat right here. But I strapped him down and he can't go anywhere until we answer all of your questions and give you a whole bunch of information on what working with gosh, I feel like I can't even build you and your team up enough. I was gonna say like qualified, licensed, insured, general contractor, like all those like fancy words that you hear. But how would you describe yourself and ENS and kind of what you guys, the level that you're at in general contracting? Because it's not basic.
God, tough question. Very loaded. Well, ENS is definitely on the spot. We're here all the time. We're very punctual. We're very transparent.
How many of you? There's you're the general.
There's 12 of us on staff. That's 5 project managers, 5 carpenters, 2 design coordinators, VP of operations, Instagram,
Your
probably others
wife. as
well. My beautiful wife, I did.
She's the one who runs all the social that you see from ENS.
She's a part of ENS as well.
But you guys are oh shit, the saw. Hey, it's a construction zone here, and I should probably tell you, we're at our 53rd build. This is a spec project that we have together, and we basically need to finish this house. So we told the trades, Jason, told the trades, just you keep working and we'll just work it out. So if it gets a little loud, that's why. But
I agreed to be on film as long as we didn't
working.
stop working.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna dive into it, but we are going to be interviewed by Kelly Artigue, our director of marketing, using questions that you guys have asked us for a very long time here. And we're gonna try to answer some things for you, let you in on a little bit of information on what it's like working with us. And all in all, probably have a couple laughs and a little bit of a good time.
Let's see, I've been building for over 15 years. That was definitely not my initial goal. Graduated from college, emphasis pre-med.
Jason?
Yeah, I know, but it was pre-med, but really I was supposed to go be a physical therapist.
I'm not sure about your bedside manner.
It's not very nice. I would be a very direct doctor.
Yes,
I would not sugarcoat anything.
I'm sorry to tell you you're dying.
Yeah, sorry. I would not sugarcoat anything, but yeah. I used to play baseball, wanted to be a physical therapist, athletic trainer, worked for a professional ball team. Somehow, at that time, I was in the bar business when I graduated college. Couldn't get out of it, and then decided that probably wasn't the place to be in order to raise a family. So I got out of the business, got in the mortgage business, got in the real estate business, then got in the building business. Now my family background, a lot of builders in it, so that's kind of how ENS started.
So going back to the bar business. How did you and Kristen meet?
We used to run in the same circles in the bar. But it's so weird. Like, so many of you out there, I'm sure, have had friends from right when you were bartending in college and all that stuff. And I can honestly say I never thought I'd run into you, let alone like you be my most trusted partner in the business that we've built at THELIFESTYLEDCO, right? Yeah. So I don't even remember how we ended up like seeing each other. Were we on a site or something?
Just randomly crossed paths when you were starting off, and I was kind of still figuring it out. And
we pretty much both started at our own thing at about the same time. And I remember we went out to lunch with Adrian, who works for you now, who it's just so weird how life happens. But so yes, we went out to lunch and then we started kind of referring clients. And honestly, since that very first client, we have stuck really close together and use each other, I think, as such a resource for keeping each other in check, making sure no one, kind of steps out of bounds. I obviously care greatly about what you think about me and my team and my company, and I hope you feel the same way. I'm sure you do, which is why we work together so well. But yeah, we met in the bar business and never thought that we would cross paths again, let alone be building businesses together and having so many like-minded clients that really like what we do. And the funny thing is we are so different. We are so different.
A lot of things have changed in the past 20 years.
We are so different. Like we handle things very differently, but I can be 100% honest with Jason and his team, and he can be 100% honest with me and my team. And I think that's part of where the partnership works so well. I tend to play very client centric. He tends to play very builder centric.
Function.
Yeah. And so that creates a dynamic too. But yeah, that's how we started.
So you have been in business together for a long time. How many projects have you worked on? What was your favorite?
Gosh.
Give us the team.
Wow.
It's been at least 20, 25. I mean, we have 8 right now, plus 2 more coming. So we always have like at least 5, I'd say, kind of rolling. And then there are times like now where we have 8 plus, and there are times where we have less or more. What's been your favorite project?
Wow, my favorite project. That's a tough one.
I mean, are we including specs or clients?
Yeah, anything.
I mean, specs always. Yeah. I love you clients. I really do. We wouldn't be here without you.
79th Street is definitely the client and
yes,
the house,
yes.
right? Mm-hmm.
So 79th Street was a spec project that we were working on, and then one of our existing clients bought it. So that was awesome and ended up being such a great project together. 79th was a big one. I'm trying to think of Cortez. I feel like Cortez was a spec project that we finished in the middle of the pandemic, and it was very challenging, and actually is why we started our YouTube channel. So it'll be 3 years in May that we've been on YouTube with you guys. So I think that was a big one too, just because we kind of had to re-navigate what we were doing halfway through. Materials became a huge issue, but we finished it and it was lovely, and I definitely think it was a very memorable project. Sapphire, oh my God, yeah, there's so many.
Yeah.
Jason, how does the experience differ from working on a project with and without a design team?
Well, if you know me, I won't be working with you if you're not working with a designer. So that's...
You guys won't, right?
No.
Yeah.
Nope. I pretty much tell any client that if you're gonna work with me, I need a designer involved. And if they think that they can do it on their own, I show them an example of what they need to provide me. Yeah, the Bible, right?
How thick that thing
Yep.
is?
Yeah. And usually then they go find a designer. So to be honest with you, I won't work without a designer.
Now,
design team.
who's the best designer in the world? No, just kidding. What team do you like working with more than any other team?
This gal.
The
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Aside from the Bible, like what does a design team offer to the build process that maybe it wouldn't be there if it was just a client?
A map.
Or how about a good design team versus a not good design team?
Yeah, okay.
Not to say any of the designers you're working with now aren't great, but in the past, right? It takes a long time to get to a really seasoned process. So if you're a new designer out there and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I want to find my Jason, I want to work with a team like this, how do I do that? Maybe you can address just what are some of the things that really make the experience versus if you have a team that doesn't have their shit together.
Communication is huge. Answer my phone call. This morning I just looked at something and said, instantly I'm calling everybody, call Kristen, call the lead designer, text him a picture. If you're not answering me in 30 seconds, I'm wondering what's gone.
I'm like, we're on the phone. Hi, we're on the phone with each other. Just 1 second, we'll be right with you.
Yeah, communication's huge. Renders are absolutely huge. A full map, this Bible that we're talking about here is huge. But yeah, very, very important to have a clean, clear, and concise map. And everything has to be decided before we put a shovel in the ground, not while it's going on, which is a huge thing. So I won't put a shovel in the ground until everything is accounted for the most part.
Let's talk budget. It's a thing that no one likes to talk about.
The B word.
Get into it. What is a realistic budget someone should expect for a new build and for a renovation? I know they differ a little bit.
With renovations, it really depends on the cost. Are we gutting it down to the studs, starting all over? Are we leaving the shell? Are we just doing what we call lick and stick?
So let's say we have like a 5,000 square foot here in Scottsdale. We're basically taking it down to the studs, not changing any walls, but giving it a full, so new kitchen, new bathrooms, flooring, everything.
Like the one down the street?
Yeah.
Okay. About $200 a square foot.
Okay.
So lick and stick,
Right.
not walls, not taking it down.
Right, we're not
the
reorienting
finishes,
where plumbing is and all that.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
If we are, how much is that at?
Pretty much you're down to about $400, $350 to $400 a square foot.
Right.
Because you're doing everything you would with a build except for all of the framing and the foundation. Yep.
Right.
Which.
And your $450, $475 on the build side doesn't include land?
No,
that's a separate
no, totally, because it varies on location. But
no, I think that's really helpful for people.
Which is why I talk to most into trying to tear the house down.
Yeah, every single person I take you to.
Yep.
He wants to just knock it down, and I'm like,
I mean,
okay, well, I really liked that fireplace. We don't actually have to knock the whole thing down. Yes, we do.
If you're taking it down to the studs, you're only saving 50 to 75 bucks a square foot. So just so if you've gone that far, I would tear it down.
Yeah. We know. Okay.
Times have changed a lot in the last few years, as we know. What's been the biggest difference in construction and design from before and after COVID times? If you consider
You handle construction, I'll handle design.
Well, to be totally honest with you, I think, not to say that we didn't have to make adjustments for COVID and what we went through, but ENS, we always planned ahead.
You did.
You know,
totally.
so
we all did it. Yeah.
So ultimately, I was always wanted to know things as much far in advance as we possibly could. So I could order things, make sure they came in. Now with COVID, clearly we had to order them a lot sooner. But if you weren't doing that before, you know.
Right, I'd say that, I mean, that's a big one, right? Is those days of like, hey, for whatever reason this didn't get ordered, what can we spec that we can get here in a week? Like that doesn't exist anymore unless you're gathering your finishes at Home Depot, which I hope you're not. Home Depot's great, but not for finishes at this level. So I think that for sure. I mean, now you give us the hot list, as we call it, which is basically garage doors, appliances, roof tiles, windows, doors, that kind of stuff. So there are things that we as an industry know we have to hurry and not even hurry. We have to stay ahead of the curve on and like the timeline on so that we don't end up really creating issues.
It didn't used to be that way. Right. I mean, like windows, we didn't have that problem before, but now they're 5 to 6 month lead time. So I'm going to be ready for windows 4 months after I break ground, at least I will be. So I need my windows ordered 2 months prior to breaking ground.
On the design side, post-pandemic, I would say just understanding how long the time frame is on things. So if you're a designer out there or you're a client and you're working with a design team, it's paramount that they understand how long these things take. Like, if I had no idea that appliances were on a year timeline right now, that would be a huge problem because I could have spec'd appliance package for something that I had cabinets fit to that is not available for a year. And we see so many times that there's just a transfer of information that needs to happen, and there has to be enough industry knowledge in supply and demand, and of course availability and what's on the plans and a million other things. That I feel like as long as you have that understanding and the design team and the construction team are working together, not like this, it can very easily be done, but we do see it go wrong.
I think the biggest thing that bugs me today is that from what I hear from other clients, friends that are working with other builders, things like that, I think builders currently are still leaning on the excuse of waiting for material. I would say some of that's probably true, but some of it's probably not.
Yeah. Yep.
Some of that's just not ordering it when you should have.
Okay, next question. What are some qualities that you should look for in a designer and a builder from the other person's perspective? So Kristen, what's a good quality that you look for in a builder? And Jason, what's a good quality that you look for in a designer?
Okay, what do I look for in a builder? I think more than anything, an appreciation for the craft. More than anything, I don't know, I just wanna I like you. But if it's not you, I wanna like the person, right? Because and I feel the same way about clients, and if you guys have followed us or have any familiarity with THELIFESTYLEDCO, you know that. Like, we look for like-minded clients that have a very similar understanding of just life in general. Like, you know, these are first world problems. We're building custom homes here, and yes, it's the most money you've ever spent on anything, but ultimately, there are a lot of things that hold a lot more weight in some ways in just the world, and I think there's a level of kindness that should always come across, and so that organic connection and all those things, but Other than that, I would say I want there to be an appreciation for the craft, and the craft is ultimately what the client is paying for, right? And so we can get really caught up as design professionals or construction professionals in the monotony and the minutia of the everyday and the building and the nuts and bolts and the sticks and bricks and all that. But ultimately, if we have the same desired outcome that we want this to be this $5, $2, $10, $12 million home, which is what the client has paid us to do, we'll be able to get there, right? As long as we're always remembering the common goal. And I think you and your team are so amazing at that. I also think, to Jason's point, like when I call, answer. I never answer. But when I call, you better answer. No, I'm kidding. But right, just the understanding, or like the ability to be normal. Like just be normal, don't be a dick. We say that all the time, like just don't be a dick. Hi, how are you? How's your family?
I can be a dick.
Yeah, are you feeling good? Like, and the second you start wandering, I'm like, excuse me, it's me. Why are you talking to me that way? Okay, Jay, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna get over this. Okay, come back to me.
That's just me caring.
And you do, right? It's your way of caring. And then what you can't do, you have it in your team, right? And so I feel like the biggest characteristic is just having a common understanding of the craft and just being kind and like understanding that, listen, we're gonna be able to figure this out. Look at all we've done. Like look at where we've gotten, right? I mean, I still don't think we've really found a problem, knock on wood, that has been like completely unsolvable. Like we're gonna figure it out. And also, who knows and how much is it going to cost and who's paying for it is another one. Yeah. Before we involve a client and make them feel totally upset because they don't have the skills that we have to manage this stuff, like let's come up with a solution. Don't drop problems in my lap. You're the builder, I'm the designer. You build, I'll design, type of thing. What about you?
Wow. Okay, how do I follow that up? Well, one of the biggest things that I look for in a designer is actually giving a crap.
Yeah, we're saying the same
right?
thing.
I mean, it's kind of, like I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's just me. But I want to work with somebody that gives a crap.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this business, too many people, too many designers give you just a package and say, go, right? And so if you give a crap, then when I call or have a question, not everything is always, goes together the way a picture is, right? So,
or the way we planned, or the way we collectively planned it.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just different in the field.
So that's the next thing is to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Lenient, work with the process that if I have an issue, if something doesn't go where it needs to go, or we work through it together. There's flexibility is the word I was looking for. And I like to be able to have multiple people to call.
Yes,
right?
I know you do. Yes, we know.
So
I think you call me last now.
Several outlets. Yeah, right. I call Kristen last.
Yeah,
now.
You used to call me first.
So,
oh, you call me last.
Yeah, okay. It's just giving a crap, flexibility, organization. Sorry for the saw in the background.
Our viewers are watching from all across the country. We have a lot even further than that all across the world. What are some questions that they should be asking their builder before they hire and sign on the dotted line?
That's a tough question. But,
get a pen. Get a pen and a piece of paper.
I could go on forever here, but I'll
give
try
them like
to give you
top three.
Top three. Okay, top three. First, I would ask your builder what do their other clients' builds cost. Ask them to open their books. Realistically say, okay, you're building these homes. How much do they cost? They should be able to disclose that to you, so you actually know what they're truly building rather than telling you a price per square foot, because unfortunately there's a lot of builders out there that are going to tell you what you want to hear, a lot lower price per square foot to get you in the door, and it's not going to end there and it won't end well. That's number one.
And what happens when that happens? So let's say they say, oh, we can build your house for $250. Obviously they can't. Once you're, let's say 6 months into the project, then you as the client have to write checks throughout. Like likely you're not going back to the bank to renegotiate a draw or anything like that. So unless you have that kind of cash sitting in an account somewhere that you're ready to just write and these are big numbers. We're not talking $1,000. We're talking 15, 20, 150, like big numbers. So I think that's a huge one.
Yep. And so they know different scales of builds there. One big question is how involved is the builder? Me personally, I'm on site every project every day.
Too much.
Some people would tell me that's too much, but in order for me to be happy and go to sleep at night, I have to know what's going on every day with every project, because honestly, I'm
the responsible party.
Yeah, I'm the person that my team needs to lean on. And sometimes, believe it or not, there's calls that I have to make because subs won't answer their phone calls and only my phone calls. So I love to be involved, and so they should be involved. Otherwise, if they're just out there being the GC, carrying a license number and not knowing what's going on, then I don't think you're a very good builder. And ask your builder what a realistic timeline is. And they should be able to show you that timeline by actually taking you out to sites that they're building. They'll be able to tell you, hey, I started this build, in January, we're at, foundation stage in February, but if they started in January and their foundation stage in July, you should probably run. So yeah, you should definitely ask them their timelines and prove it, and ask the referrals.
Yeah, I'd say
their previous clients what their actual timeline was, not what they're guessing it was.
Yeah, and I also think when you're for designers as well, there really has to be synergy between the build team and the design team. So for us, if we have a client that wants to work with us, they know they want what we do, and they are bringing us a builder that we've never worked with before, if we have the bandwidth at the time to even open ourselves up to that kind of learning curve, which we don't always, like for years, we wouldn't work with anyone other than basically Jason and like 3 other generals. But if we have that time, we require a sit down. You need to know that that general contractor knows how to work with a design team. So no offense, there are a lot of designers out there. It's a professional job, but you can be self-taught. I'm self-taught. And I think the reason why it worked with us is because we were both self-teaching at the same time. So we were learning together at the same time, where there's just a difference between a professional design team that has a series of people that operates under a process and your friend who's got a great eye. It doesn't mean that he or she, their eye is any different, or that they're not incredibly talented, but there's a level of professionalism that needs to be established, especially if you're building homes at this level, right? If you're building a house that is 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, you have a lot more flexibility, I'd say, right? In just the risk and how many things can go wrong and how many things need to be specified. And I mean, we specify every single thing down to, if it has an aesthetic value, it comes out of our office, basically. So I think you need to make sure that when you're asking your builders or meeting builders or trying to identify who your team is going to be, building that dream team, which we talk about a lot, you want to make sure that both parties are well equipped to work with each other and that they have the expectations and the experience to deliver professionalism at the highest level on the build side and the contracting side. It will make everything so much better.
Timeline's key, right?
Timeline, yeah.
Sometimes they tell me to slow down.
Yeah, that would be great, actually. There's some times that he builds houses a little too fast, that you can build a house faster than I can get a sofa made. And I'm like, so I'm still waiting on freight for that piece. It's been somewhere in Middle America for 2.5 months. So slow it down, thanks.
I'll have to start building furniture,
yeah,
right?
Great, start building furniture, please.
Jason, what is the most challenging thing we've asked you to build and how did it turn out?
Oh, that's a good one.
Did I actually build it or deny it?
You always start with no and then it gets built, right, Allie?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, hardest thing or the thing that you fought the most?
Yeah, right. That's true.
Gosh, let me think.
There was something I denied that they tried to, right behind us, they tried to make me do that I vetoed. That was very difficult.
Hold on. I can't roll my eyes back in my head enough. Gosh, what did the soaking tub in Cortez? Oh. You did not like that.
No.
That was one that you fought pretty
difficult.
Pretty reluctantly.
Yeah. 1,100-pound tub.
But we all know how beautiful
in
it
an
is.
Enclosed
it turned
area.
Out amazing. And the island in 76th. Oh, we had to take the door off. I mean, this is no big deal.
Oh, in the laundry room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have built the house around the island, but.
The island in the
I
laundry
added that
room.
in the last minute. It was vintage. It looks so beautiful. So you had to do that.
Yeah, we had to tear the door
The
out.
set of doors, there was a set of doors at Sapphire from Antiquities that you did not appreciate.
That was tough. Yeah.
You didn't like those.
Yeah.
What else? That's probably, I mean, I'm trying to think of like any other, there's been some ceilings that you've been a little.
There is one ceiling right now I'm fighting. Really bad.
That you've been a little salty about,
yeah.
But for the most part.
I don't get it. I mean, honestly, I've given in and built most of everything they've asked me to, maybe with a couple tweaks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Which we're always like, I'm happy to
Yeah.
Try to figure out.
Appreciate that.
What is your favorite thing about working with Kristen?
Yay! What is it? I didn't know that question.
God, there's just so many things.
Pick
I don't
one.
know how to pick one. I mean, geez. I mean,
First thing that comes to mind.
like first thing that comes to mind. Always has a smile. Always has a
Yay!
smile.
That's a nice one,
Yeah.
Jay. Thank you.
Because I don't. So,
He said it, not me.
yeah, I don't always have a smile, but she always has a smile. Very positive.
I do. Thank you.
Very positive.
I appreciate that.
Very flexible.
Thank you.
Yep, yep.
I do feel like I and my
I really like her husband.
are very, yes, I know. You guys are like besties now. I don't know whether to like this or not like this. Like they've been chummy for quite some time, but now they're like golfing together and like doing the thing. I heard you guys got in a golf league
Well, yeah.
on Saturdays. Like, thank you. You could have,
Sundays, too.
oh, you could have consulted me before you like offered his, yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna keep, but okay, YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it.
I like her
Obviously,
house too, by the way.
You know.
Even though I didn't build it.
Oh,
They did a great job.
Oh, are you coming out with this right now on YouTube? You know what? Tell the people why you didn't build my house.
It was too far. It was too far.
You guys, he's being serious.
I'm not joking.
I begged him. Actually, I didn't. I really didn't because listen, this is a great learning opportunity for people. If a builder, no matter how much you like them, he or she works in a specific area and you're not in that area, it's likely not a good idea to try to force it. So as much as I love Jason and his trades and his team, and I would have loved for him to build my house, he works in one area of kind of Phoenix Metro and I live in another. And so we both are just too smart and know too much and know that he wouldn't want to go down there. The trades wouldn't want to go. We live way south. The trades wouldn't want to go to Gilbert. And so we decided collectively, you, me, and Vince, that we'd work with another builder. And Craft Homes is who built my home, and they were amazing
They did a
also.
good job.
Yeah, and I knew you approved, and there were some check-ins along the way to make sure that everything went the way it was supposed to. So, but I can't believe you just came out with that.
Now that she's done, we're gonna move to the East Valley.
Oh, cute. That's real cute. Lovely. Okay. Well, YouTube, talk to us in the comments. If you'd like to follow me, my personal account is at Kristen Forgione. Our brand account is at TheLifestyleCo. Jason's is ES Builder.
Our business one?
Your personal account is a train wreck, okay?
Right.
We are
I'm
not,
like, don't
no.
follow that because I don't post anything. So don't.
Samantha
do that.
Easterly's beautiful wife posts on at ES Builders AZ. All you have to do is go to the Lifestyle Co account and you will see plenty of projects where they are tagged all over. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.